Morning. Uh, Recently, I've been talking about things that come to my mind that might help others in their practices, things that they can cultivate, behaviors, habits, patterns. All these things were aimed for those that were looking for ways that they could perhaps enhance their journey. After all, we're all on a journey whether we know it or not. It's a journey without a destination. You know, they would say the awakening, permanent awakening or abiding awakening, is a goal in and of itself, but it's really not. Once you reach this state, you find that nothing's static. Static, after all, is death, isn't it? We need movement. And there's lots more realms to explore after we've exhausted the necessity of us being incarnated into a physical form. And we accomplish this by becoming one with the spirit, one with the cosmos, one with the energy, by eliminating the mind's trickster, our egoic structure, or at least minimizing it to the point that the critical litmus test here is that the mind is not designed, should not be utilized for decision making. And I know that flies in the face from most of us what we think the mind is. But you should really think twice. Think with the heart and evaluate information that the mind's giving you. I don't listen to my mind at all anymore. I put it to work. Evaluating, it's really good at evaluating, weighing, looking for balance. It's really good for eliminating rubbish thoughts, rubbish deeds, things that are hindering our spiritual evolution. The mind can be very useful. It's good for telling us what isn't, not what is. What is comes from a different realm, the mind of the heart. So recently I've been told, before I continue, this is maybe not so obvious of an aloha shirt, but I'm going to stand up a little bit here best I can to see if I can share with you the boundaries that definitely define this as an aloha shirt. I love boundaries. Hey, and by the way, today's the first day. You might hear a little more ambient noise. I have my windows open. It's just as I speak, right on cue. Windows open because it's autumn and we're having a little respite from the heat. We do anticipate that there will be more stretches, but right now we're enjoying. I can sit comfortably in fans off, air conditioner off, and I turn those off because they make sounds that I don't like, and in my sharings, in my videos. But today I can sit comfortably in front of you and just kind of enjoy. So let's live within the ambient noise. Traffic. Right on cue. But recently I've been addressing things as I began, maybe I lost my track, began to enhance things that we can all do, that we can all work on, that contribute to our seeking, our journey, our paths. But now I'm sort of, at least today, I'm kind of switching tracks a little bit because I'm paying attention. Before it was outer directed, I was paying attention to things that I'd considered, that I'd used in my practice, that I thought I could share. And now I'm back to a stage of self-reflection again. So, it's ebb and flow. It's a wave, outward and inward. And my inward work that I'm currently, and I have no choice, it chooses me. Okay, my inward work is pointing me to being grounded. And perhaps a lot of that has to do with my wife's making these jewelry. If you're interested, I can share with you. She has web pages, but she makes it specifically for the chakras that she thinks it's individually constructed. It's designed for the chakras that need work. Orange is the sacral, and I'm a non-sacral being, which means that I don't generate energy. I'm not a dynamo. I have to absorb any energy from those energy producing people around me, which leads me to the second. So this is about my sacral, the second chakra, the orange color, and learning for me to, I'm so hungry for energy that sometimes I'm indiscriminate. So this is to help me discriminate between constructive and destructive energy. I just look for a source. And usually it's a pretty good source because I'm surrounded by sacral beings with good energy. And then speaking of energy, so the left hand is receptive. I'll get to the green in a minute. Here I have one that's designed for me. I'm a sponge. I absorb thoughts. I take on karma. I absorb my environment on such a deep molecular, micro and macro levels. And she knows, this was made for me, especially because she knows that when I'm out and about and I'm spending time with an energy being, I come home too amped up. She's quietly sitting and contemplatingly. She's a quiet woman. She's sitting at her computer. Her day job is online, and her interests are all computer generated. Even her spiritual studies, the internet is one of the best resources, and I won't have to suggest it to you because you wouldn't have found me without the internet. So anyway, sometimes I come too jacked up, just motor mouth. I tend to be a quiet man, but when I'm too much energy, I don't know what to do with it, so it comes out here. Physical exercise, I get my share. I'm in the water, surfing, at least paddling, and bike riding. But I can't get rid of the energy at the same levels of intensity because I just don't have that much to give or have that much to spend. So this is kind of as a reminder, not only a reminder, but right hand helps you reject. receive or send, but also stop. And this black, it's a visual stimulation, but it also is a physical, emotional, spiritual. She goes through a special ceremony of blessing this. She burns sage a lot. She places them around her as she meditates before. So leave a message if you're interested in what she's doing. I can share with you. But this, so I look at it and remind myself when I'm around. I have a couple of friends, dear friends, but they're both jacked up, their energy being, and I'm off the too much. So this is to remind me. It's also to protect overstimulation. And she did this in kind of self-preservation. She doesn't want to be bringing home that energy to our peaceful. We've really got a peaceful home that we've worked on together and both equally contributed to. So she doesn't want me to disrupt. Even the kiddies, our two kiddies, even they can feel the energy. They like it when I'm sitting and meditating, which is most of the time. They like it, then they come close. When I come home, they give me some room. So that's a sure sign, right? Watch your pets. They'll let you know. They'll let you know what your friends won't tell you. Anyway, that's the bracelets I wear. And then, along with wearing the bracelet, remember, as a reminder to make a conscious effort. I have to find some way to detox before I come home and before I approach my wife. I have to give myself some detox time because she just doesn't like my way of dealing with the energy, and that's mostly by motor mouth. So, that's the bracelets. Let's go back to what my reflection has told me that I need to work on. The green one I wear in my left hand is compassion, about love and compassion. And I have a history of being a very judgmental being, and it's hard. It's still work. I still catch myself in the old habits die hard, right? And this is to remind me the green is the heart chakra, and the heart chakra is about unlimited compassion. Just a solid giving. The heart should be pumping out compassion to the world with every beat. And I have no problem being compassionate on selective audience. It's the unwashed masses. See, that's judgmental. It's the other, the greater other that I need to work on. And nothing's brought this home more clearly than watching what's happening to my country, America, watching here from safely removed from Taiwan, watching what's happening. And what I see is disconcerting. I worry that this man will get elected again and continuous the U.S. down the path of deconstruction. Step by step, he's dismantling everything that we've taken 100 years to develop. It reminds me of how fragile everything is. So that's where I work on. If I can be Compassion for the Donald. I'm talking about not my president, but the President of the United States, Donald Trump. If I can practice compassion with this man, I would have no stronger test. So I'm kind of in a rock and a hard place. I read, I watch YouTube, I see this MSNBC and CNN, and I watch what he's doing, what he's saying. And I have to balance that and remember to look at the green heart, compassion for one and all. And I sit with eyes closed because I'm working on that. So this is going back, I'm hearkening back to my previous message about things that you can do. And this is, I find, very useful. Visual stimulus, reminders, but also it has a vibrational contribution. But what my self-reflection, and it's related, because I'm being reminded how important being grounded is. How important. I have the root chakra, and my roots are deep. But I still find myself floating. If I'm not making an effort to plant my feet in the ground, if I'm not making a conscious effort to be grounded, I will float. And a few inches off the ground, levitating a few inches off the ground. But I suspect like a helium balloon, hydrogen balloon, I would keep floating and floating and floating until it became impossible to find my way back. Because at some point, this floating would mean leaving the body behind. And the body is the connection. We need this body to help and to work with others still in this body. If my work lies beyond, that time will come. But currently, I need to stay. I have a lot of work to do here. I'm in the process of establishing a center, a meditation center aimed at newbies, aimed at people to start training people to how to meditate because the interest is there. All I'm waiting for is the mechanics. A benefactor. Perhaps. Somebody that can help me provide a space. I need a space. But meanwhile, I continue with the work that I can do, which is sharing here on my YouTube sharings. Kind of as a sidebar when I'm talking about YouTube sharings, my 2013, late 2013, 21-inch iMac is starting to occasionally have that dreaded little white folder with a question mark where it can't find the boot up disk. And that's usually a sign that the hard drive's life is. And I'm 7 years old, and it's usually 5 to 6. So I'm looking to replace the old HDD hard drive with a new SSD. and I found the place, and we're having a holiday season the first couple weeks of October, but after the holiday season, I'm looking forward to lugging my computer to Taipei, leaving it with experts. So I feel that I want to do as many of these as the Spirit moves me. These sharings until it crops out. I hope it doesn't crop out. I want to work on it before it gives up the ghost. But all of that is not to the point. Well, it's part of being grounded, isn't it? I spoke of this idea in evolution, this in transition to transformation of a center, no matter how humble, a place that I could put some sign out front that I could attract or attempt to attract people interested in meditation. Non-denominational meditation. I'm an equal opportunity meditator. I have my own propensities. I tend to be Eastern driven towards Zen, Zazen, Chan in the Chinese. Taoism is interesting. I've spent time in Thailand temples. I've spent time in Japanese Renzai, Zen temples and dojos. But meditation is useful to you no matter what your proclivities or tendencies or belief system. Meditation can only contribute to your well-being, if nothing else. And it's the contribution to your well-being. As you can see, physical effects from practicing the art of meditation, then it might open the window to discard your belief system and start to be open and aware of not only where beliefs can lead you wrong, but in their absence, you can fill it with much more constructive, useful, practical tools that will help you in your evolution. We're stuck in belief systems. Belief systems are like glue, and it inhibits progress. It's only through the necessary discarding. And remember, don't become a reformer other than a reformer of yourself. People need belief systems because with absence of any sense of morality coming from any kind of belief system is what keeps us from degenerating into total chaos. So I appreciate it has a role to play. But like everything else, there comes a time to shed. To shed beliefs makes it easier in the great job of eradicating the trickster, the egoic mind, the self-constructed, delusional concept of reality. What you should do and what you shouldn't do comes from this egoic voice, which is most times, only a little step removed from the monkey mind, that mind of constant chatter, of nonsensical chatter. So I'm making an effort, we're back to grounded again. I'm making an effort that each step I take, I receive and send. It's always a two-way street. I receive. There's chakras in the feet. Chakra just means wheel, spinning wheel, energy wheel. There's chakras in the soles of the feet. In the arches, I feel mine. But sending energy down through there, from that came from above, through the crown chakra, which sits above, through all the chakras to the root, and all the way down to the feet, and you transfer your love and light to Mother Earth, and she rewards you with nurturement, with security, with compassion and love. Our Earth is an example of unconditional love. She gives us sustenance. No matter if we're spending 24/7 dismantling, destroying, pouring concrete, she's a lesson. Mother Earth is a lesson to us all. If Mother Earth can forgive all those that are trespassing on her, surely I can find it in my heart to forgive the U.S. president. Of course, her gift makes mine pale, but she's a lesson. And this connecting, this grounding, this feet firmly on the ground is my work right now. And I think I'm going to ask my wife if she can make me a red bracelet to remind me again, just as these two remind me. This is fourth chakra. This is second chakra. To remind me to stay grounded. So, reject, repel, receive, send, receive. So the same hand that rejects says stop. It's also the same energy that push, that you can give, that you can share. So as I sit in my meditation chair, which you can see, something's draped over it. Huh? You can see my meditation chair. This is where I spend the time sitting. Across the way, I have a stereo system set up because I put mindful music on and meditate to music. My teacher always told us no sound, no outside disturbances, no open windows. And I just find, that masters give you information. It's for you to do what with it, what you will. They're not vested in this gift. This is their experience. And as you grow, your experience, I'd be hard pressed to say it would be the same. No two of us have the same experiences, right? No two of us bring the same karmic debt. No two of us think alike, or look alike, or speak alike. That's the beauty, is the diversity. So music helps. Maybe you like total silence. Good on you. Seafood, thank you. But I got windows open. I keep animals. Again, he says, not good to keep animals. I keep my cats. I listen to my meditation music, carefully selected, and there's abundance. Abundance. I particularly like the Tibetan healing bowls and the healing crystals. They really resonate with me. But I also like the human voice. I like a lot of the Tibetan monks chanting. I'm one of my two Buddhas, Dhammo, who's Bodhidharma, more in Chinese is Dhammo Bodhidharma, the first patriarch of Chinese Chan. 26, 27, 28, I believe, patriarch of the traditional Hindu Buddha ascension line. But my other one is Roger Monk, a 16th century, I take that back, 15th century Franciscan monk. So I like the Gregorian, I listen to the Gregorian chants. And my wife and I have both discussed how that we believe, we feel that the reason we're together now is that at some time we spent monastic life in the Western world, in the Christian tradition. We spent monastic lifetime together, and that's what brought us back. I traveled all the way from Hawaii to be in Taiwan. She also spent her adolescence in Holland and her university years through her master's degree in Great Britain. But she also came back. And 4 or 5 years later, I'd been here 15 years, she'd been here 5 years, our paths crossed. Through the commonality of a shared teacher, our paths cross. And as I sit here today looking at you, that's the condition. We're together. Despite many, many obstacles and despite all odds, we're together. So we share in this same journey. We each have our own paths to take, but we share together. We share our time, we share our journeys, we share our shortcomings, we share our insights, we share our breath, we share our heartbeats. So she'll have a very active role in any other kind of center I set up.